This is the door into my room from the hallway. On it there are two Japanese posters from calendars. The one on the top is a lush green forest covered with trees, covered with a light mist. The one down below is a frozen lake with a stark white shore and a heavy mist hanging over the hillside. Both of these pictures are put up on the door with black slabs of tape. Just in from the door is the desk area and a chair. In the lower right-hand corner is my appointment book with my keys on top of it. Above that is a blank pad of paper and some notes to myself under that big brass key. Here are some pieces of type which are holding up some envelopes up against the bulletin board. The pieces of type, the top one says unavoidable abuse and the bottom one says abuse, but they're backwards so that you can only read them in a mirror. The letters behind those paperweights are letters from friends that I haven't answered yet and are waiting there to be answered. Here's the bulletin board with various notes all over the place. Gary's radio, Tuesday 10 to 1, pay phone bill, a program from a Wim Wenders film festival at the Fox Venice, a note to myself about Bob's Big Boy combo for $129 during the month of February. Tony Garcia owes me splicing tape. A quote out of New West Magazine, an article on Jerry Brown, which says, an excessive concern for details seems to have impeded his ability to conceptualize adequately. Various other notes, phone numbers. There's a dagger in the corner that my parents bought me in Switzerland. I have a knife collection at home. This is the only knife that I brought down to Del Mar with me, but it's a long steel dagger. There's that brass paperweight again and another rock which I painted which says, I dreamed last night that a chicken walked across my face. Here's a pile of things that I need to do. Turn in some film, listen to a cassette, answer some business correspondence, figure out my taxes, etc. Here's a lamp that my friends the Osbournes gave me with a little plastic man holding a camera hanging down from the on and off switch. When the lights go out, this man glows a beautiful, dark, vibrant blue. The bookshelf behind it has books on the top shelf, but down here on the bottom shelf, here are some greeting cards, which are blank, that I bought in a bookstore in Encinitas. Next to that is a wooden trammel that a friend of my grandfather's built. It just goes around and around, and those things go back and forth, sort of like a rapid transit diagram. Next to that is my slide viewer, which used to be in a bag inside a drawer, and now is out gathering dust, but out nevertheless. Next to it is a sort of a diamond-shaped crystal box, which my friend Mara gave me over Christmas, and the plastic button inside is just there temporarily. I've got to find something better. Behind that is a marble container full of number 2 pencils with a little golden pencil on the inside. Behind that is a sign that says, please remove shoes. The 2 film cans in the foreground, one on the left has postage stamps in it and a few other miscellaneous things, and the one on the right has my silver change, in other words, nickels, dimes, and quarters. The pennies go elsewhere. Behind those are 2 plastic mugs with pens in the left and colored pencils in the right. Up here on the top shelf is a dictionary, a rhyming dictionary, a blank book, 4 class notebooks, 2 books that I borrowed, my address book, my checkbook, a little wooden box, and some recipes. Up here on the very top is another wooden box, which my father brought back from Japan with a vase in it. The box now holds postcards and some letters. The little train below it was made in Western Germany, and all of the cars are interchangeable so that you can put them in any order you wish. I chose this particular order because it alternates from flat, box-shaped to cylindrical-shaped cars. Next to that is a music box with all of the Peanuts characters by Charles Schulz on the top. Behind that is a photograph of La Jolla Cove that my friend Vicky took, and when I admired it a lot, enlarged and gave to me as a Christmas gift. Next to that is a little seashell picked up on the beach of San Felipe, Mexico. Next to that is a little tiny beer stein with Ohio blue tip matches in it. The larger beer stein, which was given to me by a different person, coincidentally matches the little one, and it holds all of the pennies that I didn't put in the film can below. In front of that is a wooden box with a design burned in the top, which holds individually wrapped toothpicks, both plain and mint flavored, which I've taken from restaurants and have there in case I need them. To the right of that is this month's calendar, February. I used to rely on the calendar above my desk a lot more until I got my date book. Now I only put major things on this big calendar, and the day-to-day smaller things I put in my date book. This is a photo calendar, and the photo for February is an aerial shot of the ocean with whales migrating. To the left of that I have a poster which unfortunately you can't see the vivid colors in. The sky is a bright blue, the sand is very golden, and the foam is very crisp and white, with the water being greenish blue. The colors don't look realistic, and yet they look so good that I put it up there as sort of a beautiful, surreal thing. Now down past the shelf, past the lamp and the desk, down on the floor leaning up against the wall is my tripod, which has made ugly black marks against the wall every time I've leaned it up against there, but nevertheless, I keep putting it back there. It's a Marchione Brothers tripod. The waste paper basket is usually overflowing, and there's a lot of Kleenexes and torn out pieces of note papers and stuff on the floor, but now it's only half full. Here's my set of dresser drawers, and on top of them is a big speaker. I bought a pair of speakers over Christmas time, and I got a very great cost, so even though the speakers are large, for the size of a room, they were a good investment. On top of it, there's a copper and brass horn which I bought in a flea market in London several years ago. Next to the speaker is an antique key resting on a metal filing rack. In the filing rack, starting at the front, is a book full of scraps of paper in which I've written various ideas for films on. Behind that are a couple folders for classes I'm taking this quarter. Behind that are a couple files full of day-to-day things that I collect, everything from receipts to ticket stubs to things I clip out of the newspaper, etc. A folder full of all of the letters I receive, and a couple folders behind that full of important papers. All these folders, at the end of every quarter, all these folders are put into manila envelopes and labeled, and I never throw anything out. The file with the important stuff in it stays, whereas the other folders are emptied each quarter. Next to that is a large stack of newspapers and magazines, which I keep stacking there to remind myself to read them. But as you can see, there's a basket underneath, which was originally meant to hold the things that I wanted to read, but you can barely see the basket now because of the stack of stuff on top of it. Hanging up on the mirror here, with the desk in the background, is a plastic yellow banana, which says in blue letters across it, California, and which also is a harmonica hanging from a pink silk thread. I bought this on the boardwalk at Santa Cruz, California. Next to the mirror here, facing south now, the south wall, are 3 postcards which, there was a stack of them in a bookstore, and as they said, they're free, take one, so I took 3, and they're green woods with sort of a delicate fog, with a nice black border. Down below that is sort of a futuristic lamp that my father had sent to me from New York, and below that is my nightstand. On the top there's a clock radio, a candle that John gave me, and a blank slate with a wooden frame. Down below here in the back is a can of Right Guard deodorant, the only kind I can use because I'm allergic to aluminum chlorhydrate, an empty box of Kleenexes, which has been empty for several days, and I haven't been able to replace because I want the exact color and size box that I have already in the market. My market doesn't have that now. Next to that is a silver chain which needs to be repaired because one of the links broke, and 2 little pocket knives which include scissors which are broken and need to be fixed. Next to that is a wooden cigar box with a magazine underneath it. To the left of that is the bed, which is kind of a big double bed, big slab in the middle of the room. I've always slept in a twin bed, so when I sleep in this double bed, I always stay on one side. posters above the bed are both water images again. The one on the top is entitled Summer Storm, but I see snow on the bank of the lake there, or the shoreline, so it's probably not actually in the summer. The one on the bottom is a fjord, and there's a quote by Edgar Allan Poe in the lower right-hand corner, which says, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." I like the very smooth sheen on the water of that poster. Turning the corner now, this section of the east wall doesn't have anything on it. I wanted to put something on it, but I don't just want to put up some more posters, so I'm going to wait until I find something really good to put on it if I ever do. The only thing actually that I have put there is a dead mosquito which was flying around the room several months ago, finally lighted there on the wall, and I swatted him with a newspaper or magazine, and he stuck to the wall, and it's been there ever since. I've left him there so that the wall wouldn't be totally empty. Notice the acoustical ceiling. To the left of that big empty space of wall is the window, which the curtains are drawn because it's nighttime now. The window functions most importantly as an air vent rather than a place to look out to the outside world. There's poor ventilation in the apartment, so I'm always opening the windows entirely or closing them up. Next to the window on the floor is the other speaker. And on top of it are two items. One is a big bunch of keys which form my small key collection, everything from antique keys to current automobile keys. Below it is a hand-powered flashlight which was made at the turn of the century in France, which has no batteries. You pump on that long handle there and generate a light which comes out the left there in a big lens. All right, the closet has two halves, and we're looking at the right half now, behind the sliding doors. It has mostly clothes in it, but on the top shelf are some of the manila envelopes with files from past academic quarters that have been transferred up there, some empty boxes, some miscellaneous paperwork, and some Super 8 films. Below that is a whole rack full of shirts and jackets, a lot of light colors. To the left of that is a necktie. Down below are all my pants and some belts and a hat on the far left. Down below those are shoes and a plastic tourist bag, which I carry around school a lot with my notebooks and film and tape recorder in. Way back in the background is a box that has my Bolex matte box in it. All right, this is the door covering the left-hand side of the closet. On the bottom I have a poster of the Beatles. In the center I have a poster of Sparks. And on the top there's a hot set, please keep off sign. On the left-hand side of the same closet here, there's a lot more things. In the upper left-hand corner there are two videotapes, then some audio tapes, then some films. This is the big black case that holds the lenses for my still camera. The still camera is up above. Next to it on the left is this great movie camera. Down below, the shirts and the tie and the hat that you saw on the other side of the closet. Then moving to the left, a pair of binoculars, an AM/FM portable radio, a cassette tape recorder, a little viewer from my Bolex, a cable release, two cans of Dust Off, some batteries, a roll of velvet, a flashlight, a plastic bag full of match covers, and all my Beatle records. Here are the headphones to my stereo, and another poster of Sparks. The FM antenna is trailing down in the background, and this is the turntable, the tape deck, and the tuner amplifier, which I've turned on so that you can see the numbers. Below that is a list I've made up of every record and tape I own, so that when I want to choose something to play, I can just look at the list instead of going through all of my albums, which are put in the cabinet backwards, so you can't read the what the group is at the edge. This cabinet I bought for $34.95 in a used furniture store. In the upper right-hand little cabinets are some 45 RPM records I have and some record cleaning apparatus and a battery tester. The lower right are all my record albums except the Beatle albums, which are on the shelf above because I ran out of room below. They're arranged alphabetically. In the left-hand cabinet are all my cassette tapes. On the top shelf is music, and on the bottom shelf is full of cassettes that I've recorded in different lectures and speeches here at school. On this little wall dividing the closet from the front door is a little headline that I clipped out of a newspaper with the word Sparks in it. This is the back of the door we originally came in, and I have lists and schedules up here. On the right is a theater schedule from the Ken. The two sheets of typewritten paper to the left here are lists of classes, lists of movies being shown in classes here at UCSD. Down below are lists of people with their names, addresses, and phone numbers who are in various classes of mine. Schedule from the Ken again. Below is a schedule of my daily hours in class. Here's a schedule for the Strand Theater in Ocean Beach and the Unicorn Theater in La Jolla.